Welcome to Ulua. You live, you work, you art.
Hello, this is Carol from Ulua, and I want you to shut up right now, your inner monkey. We were talking about this with Silvana Oliver, and I will leave the link to the interview here that we had for my other channel with Belen in Spanish, in case you want to watch that. And Silvana is a numerologist and also a coach. She's many things. She's also a lawyer and so many things, and a dancer. And we will have her, I hope, in the channel sometime later. But anyways, we were talking about numerology, and she told me that at first she thought that this numerology thing was like some kind of esoteric thing that she didn't want, or she didn't feel like getting into, because she thought esoteric things should be left aside from professional work. And at the same time, she was super curious, and so she studied that and started knowing more about this topic. And I think, well, that conversation was absolutely amazing. So if you want, go and watch her. But I want to add now things that we slightly touch in the comments there, in the conversation in the chat. Like, for example, these things like numerology, astrology, tarot reading, I don't know, constellations somehow. I don't know if I can include this into this world, like esoteric world. I think it applies. And so many other things, right, that people go to because they need answers. So the thing I want to talk right now is about that. It's about the answers that people in general. Sometimes I have also taken those kind of workshops, because I was just curious on what was the thing that they would talk about, and I wanted to have the experience firsthand. And after reflecting a lot, because I also come from a world of more like mental world, we could say, more like engineering, like so the esoteric world was for me like it was there, I knew, when I was younger, but I didn't feel like this was something for me in it. And I still have sometimes I struggle, even though I went to different workshops and things and seminars, and I research on some of these subjects, not all. I sometimes still have like my reserves on that, and I'm not fully engaged with one specific activity. And maybe this is my monkey mind talking, right? But again, we as people need, you and me, we need answers of the things that happen. There are so many mysterious things in life, even though you might not believe in magic or in esoteric stuff or in spiritual stuff. There are things that are somehow like mysteries. Remember that, for example, alchemy in the past, and then it became chemistry, it became science. And at the same time, I like in the middle, because I don't fully engage, I would say, in all science research, or I don't fully believe just research because it's been done, but most because of its content, and because it's have been proved in a scientific way by experience, and it can be replicated, and all those kind of things that mean science. So we have like both worlds, right? Like the magical esoteric world that sometimes we take into proven with more technology or with more research and those kind of things. Some things have been proved to be scientific, and at the same time, some scientific studies are not completely sciencey because sometimes they have been manipulated in order for you to buy some medicine. I don't know, those kind of things. So yeah, I don't want to make a fuss of it, but I am doing it anyways. So yes, I think we need responses. That is what we as human, I think, are after in this life. We want answers. So some people go to a religion and they start believing in that, mm, that dogma or the things that they are teaching in that religion, and others go to a tarot reader, or others go to do many things. But even though you don't fully believe in, for example, numerology, tarot, magic, I don't know, other things like that, that have not been scientifically proven to exist or to heal, or you know, I do believe that you can find some, at least something, in order to reflect on what you have been experiencing. It could be, or being told, or being read. So I think it could be useful somehow. And we were talking about this with Silvana, and she mentioned that she follows numerology, and we were talking about this need of you and me. We need responses. We need to know what's going on, and sometimes we are so desperate and so hopeless. So sometimes we feel like we need these answers, and we haven't found that in science. We haven't found that in religion. We haven't found that in X, Y, Z places that we've been to. But we may have our responses or our answers, the answers that we are looking for in numerology, in tarot reading, whatever it is. And if it helps you somehow get some reflection, some information, some ideas on what to do next, on what to explore next, I don't think that's completely useless. Sorry. It's like art. Art is not useless. It gives you information. It gives you something to do. And why do I say this? It's because I think that numerology or tarot are useless. No, I don't think that they are useless. On the contrary, I think that they shut up your inner monkey. This is what I've been trying to convey since I started this video. Yes, so you need to shut up your inner monkey, the monkey that goes in your head, jumping from side to side and saying, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Remember that we talk about overthinking? We think too much. We are like our monkey or monkeys sometime inside our head are making such a mess in our heads, tangling everything up. So you have certain tools like numerology. It could be also Enneagram. I don't know, many others, that you find a way to start exploring. So your monkey finds something and he says, oh, this might be interesting. This might be the answer I was looking for. But maybe it's not the answer. It's just a way in order to explore other ways, other trails in your life. So you keep on looking at things. So I think it could be a good start for anything that you need to do. I wouldn't completely disregard these activities, because in the past I did, and maybe they could have been helpful for me somehow. And that I also told Silvana in the interview, I actually once, it was like 15 years ago or something like that, I didn't believe anything about numerology or anything. It doesn't mean that I fully understand that now or fully believe that, but I do know it has certain value, at least for this shutting up your monkey. And I remember the person that we were at a party, a birthday party at the time, with other dancers and other women, and this is mostly uh, this kind of things, like esoteric things, happen mostly between women, because we talked about a lot of things, and there was a woman reading our numbers, and she told me several things. She told me, you will have this and this. It was like a prediction, right? And at the time I didn't pay any attention, but and I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it's still to be seen if that is true in the future. But yes, I think it's, at least for entertaining purposes, it's really nice. Or it could be also a way for you, or a door for you into researching other things, and at least you're not just sitting in your couch doing nothing. I think that's preferable to doing nothing or to being depressed. Sometimes maybe this is the key for you not to feel depressed or not to feel anxious, or to somehow get this food to your monkey, or to this do give him or her this relaxation, we could say relaxation medicine, or or something like that, in order for him or her to be quiet, so you can explore more what's going on in your own life. So yeah, I think this also in the conversation led us to talk about numbers, for example, in business. And I remembered, I don't know that much about that kind of thing. Maybe you can ask Silvana, she's the expert in this. But I did connect this with being in Indonesia, where people, for example, before starting a business, before they would set up the place, for example, in a mall or in a shop, they were called, I don't know the name of this role, but it was like a shaman, and they would clean. They say spiritually clean, or I don't know. Sorry if I'm saying this totally incorrectly, but they were like cleaning from bad spirits or bad luck the place where the shop would be set up, and they were like doing this ritual, um, just to give the welcome to the new owners of the house, or to the owners of the business, for them to be lucky enough to have more sales and that kind of thing. And I think that is really interesting, because when we only think rationally, we say that's nonsense. That has nothing to do with having a shop, with doing the numbers, with selling, with putting the products on the shelves and that kind of thing. That won't help anyone. But somehow, at the same time, and this is the part that I find somehow useful, I could say, or at least two things, entertaining on one side and useful on the other. Useful because we forget, especially here in these parts of the world, we forget that we need to celebrate different, I don't know if passages is the word, but different stages of our life, like like we do, for example, with weddings. We celebrate that we are getting married, or that the couple is getting married, and everyone gathers around and they have a ceremony. For example, here in Argentina, it's generally Catholic ceremony, and they go to church and they do this ritual. It's also a ritual. And they do their several things. Everybody dances and is happy and gives good wishes to the couple, the best wishes to the couple, and that kind of thing. Also, it happens at Christmas when you celebrate Christmas. It used to be like more a ritual thing where you would gather as a family and interchange presents. Nowadays, in some places it's like that, in others it's just a celebration time. But anyways, we are celebrating changes in life, and I think that is really useful for us. And we should be grateful for setting up a shop and having a place where we are selling things. And I think it's a good excuse comes to mind, but I don't. Yeah, we could use excuse. Let's go with that. Like a good excuse for us to celebrate some moments of life. And at the same time, it could be entertaining because there's dances and celebration and happiness, and it's like a good way to get together with other people that we want to. So even though if you don't fully embrace this idea of the esoteric, just take it as a celebration, take it as something that can be fun for everyone, and especially in order to shut up your monkey, because you will receive somehow some advice that, in my case, from this person that I told you, the numerologist, I received some advice from her, and that is not totally useless. I think you can take up that advice and say, okay, I will consider it, or after consideration you may disregard it totally because it doesn't apply to you, or maybe you can take that into account in the future. So yes, I think that having these tools, I would say, yes, I think they are tools like numerology and the Enneagram, constellations, I don't know, you name it, the tool that you want, tarot reading. This gives you something. And I know also that there may be some people that are only interested in getting the money out of you, and maybe they are not good people in general, but you have to decide on that. But the tool per se, I don't think it's a bad tool, any of them. Well, I don't know all. But you could get something out of that, at least to reflect, and yes, and to learn something from the other person too. Sometimes it is also a good conversation starter. Again, as in this circles of women where we dance, and there's so much varied beliefs and things that I've seen, that people that I've been with, and in person, or yes, generally in person. Everyone has their own beliefs and their own ideas, and you can learn from all of them. So you can also be benefited from their mindset, their ideas. And it doesn't mean that you have to take them all for you, for yourself, to your heart, and start practicing just because someone says that. but at least you can reflect, or you can, the least thing you could do is say, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And that is interesting. And that can also be, again, a conversation started, and say, oh, and what do you do there? And why is that you are interested in this? And how did you become this profession? Or what was, or what sparked your curiosity? And you can exchange things with the other person, instead of saying, no, 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 I don't care about that, that's nonsense, that's woo-woo, that's idiotic. And I heard so many things that are just like completely getting you apart from the person that's front of you. Instead of learning something, I think you can always learn from others, even though if you, again, if you don't believe the exact same thing, but you can learn. And remember, this channel is always about learning, about getting a bigger cottage mind, or mind palace, if you will, uh, bigger, better, cleaner, you could say. So anything that helps you increase your knowledge and also process the information you already have in different ways, as long as you don't overthink too much, I think it's a good thing. And also celebration. Celebration is a good thing. Every time you can celebrate life, and because we sometimes forget about, it used to happen to me. I used to forget about celebrating, and I wanted to be reading all day at home when I was younger. And we learn a lot from other people, especially from the ones that are completely different from us. And I'm afraid that is something that is being lost right now, because we are in the circles of the people we love and we care about and like-minded, and we share the same values and the same purposes and the same. And we are not around different people anymore. So we don't learn really that much. And I'm not saying you should go every day out and talk to anybody on the street, but take that into mind, that to cultivate some tolerance and some patience around people you don't fully understand, because you will miss so many treasures if you don't do that. I know that from experience, and luckily. As they say, the devil knows more because he's old than because he's a devil. So take that into account. And I hope that if you are up to here, there was a short chapter because I just wanted to share these things with you about being open-minded enough to learn new things. And because because I have learned also that even though I appreciate, I really, really do, I really, really appreciate being alone or learning and doing things on my own and reflecting, that kind of thing, I also value so much the time that I am, and I am so grateful for the people that takes the time to speak with me. For example, I was talking to a friend who is like in his 70s a few days ago, and I really appreciate he taking the time to talk with me, because I always learn a lot from people, and also from young people too. You learn different things from different people, and it's really valuable to be able to speak with people that you don't often do, and that are maybe completely different from you in so many aspects. Age, race, culture, whatever it is, you always learn a lot. And so I hope you find that valuable for you and for your mind palace. And thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing, liking. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you for inviting me some coffees that I have received. Thank you very much for that. And see you next in the next episode. Bye bye.
Stay tuned for Ulua's next episode.